Your cat has been acting strange. Maybe a little distant, a little too quiet, or maybe far too aggressive. You brushed it off. Cats have moods, right? But what if it's something far more dangerous? What if the warning signs were right in front of you and you almost missed them? Rabies is one of the deadliest viral diseases on the planet, and it doesn't just affect wild animals. It can silently take hold of your beloved cat. In this video, we're walking you through 7 critical warning signs every cat owner must know, because recognizing them early could save your cat's life and your own. What is rabies, and why should cat owners be alarmed? Before we dive into the warning signs, let's understand what we're actually dealing with. Rabies is a viral disease caused by the lysovirus, a virus that directly attacks the nervous system and brain. Once symptoms appear in any mammal, including cats, survival is virtually impossible without immediate pre-exposure vaccination. This is not a disease to take lightly. According to the World Health Organization, rabies causes tens of thousands of deaths worldwide each year, and domestic animals, including cats and dogs, are among the most common carriers that transmit it to humans. Here's something that shocks most cat owners. Cats are actually more frequently reported as rabid domestic animals than dogs in several countries, including the United States. Yet most people only worry about dogs. So how does a cat get rabies in the first place? The most common route is through the bite of an infected wild animal, a raccoon, bat, fox, or skunk. Outdoor cats and free-roaming cats face the highest risk, but even indoor cats aren't entirely immune, especially if a bat sneaks inside your home. The rabies virus travels through the nerves, slowly creeping toward the brain. This incubation period can last anywhere from weeks to months, meaning your cat may look completely healthy while the virus silently spreads. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Now, let's talk about what to watch for, starting with the very first sign that something may be wrong. You know your cat. You know their routines, their little habits, the way they greet you at the door or curl up in their favorite spot. That's exactly why this first warning sign is so important, because you are the best person to notice it. Warning sign number 1: sudden, unexplained behavioral changes. In the early stages of rabies, what veterinarians call the prodromal phase, infected cats begin showing a dramatic shift in their personality. A cat that was once affectionate and social may suddenly become withdrawn, anxious, or skittish. Conversely, and this is crucial, a cat that was typically reserved or independent may suddenly become unusually clingy, restless, or agitated. Think of it this way. If your cat's personality does a complete 180 seemingly overnight, that is a red flag. This behavioral shift happens because the rabies virus has begun its assault on the brain's limbic system, the region responsible for emotions, behavior, and instinct. As the virus disrupts normal neurological function, the cat's emotional baseline becomes unstable and erratic. Other behavioral changes to watch for during this phase include excessive vocalization, meaning more meowing, yowling, or strange sounds than usual, difficulty settling down, pacing, and an unusual fixation on things that wouldn't normally interest your cat. This phase typically lasts between 2 to 3 days. It's the window where early intervention is still possible. If your cat is showing these signs and has had any recent outdoor exposure or contact with wild animals, do not wait. Contact your veterinarian immediately. But behavioral changes are just the beginning. The next warning sign is one that sends shivers down the spine of every cat owner who witnesses it. Warning sign number 2: sudden, unprovoked aggression. This is the stage most people associate with rabies, and for good reason. As the disease progresses into what's known as the furious phase, the infected cat can become intensely aggressive, attacking people, other animals, or even inanimate objects completely without provocation. A cat in this stage may bite or scratch with startling ferocity. They may charge at movement, lunge at shadows, or turn on owners who have raised them for years. This is not your cat choosing to attack you. This is a virus hijacking your cat's brain. This is also the phase where rabies becomes the most dangerous to humans. Bites during this stage carry a high transmission risk. If your cat bites or scratches you and you have any reason to suspect rabies exposure, seek emergency medical care immediately. Post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP, is highly effective, but only if administered before symptoms begin in the human. Do not handle an aggressively behaving cat with bare hands. Use thick gloves, a thick towel, or call animal control. Your safety matters too. Warning sign number 3. Extreme sensitivity to light, sound, and touch. This warning sign is often overlooked, but it's one of the most telling neurological clues. Rabies-infected cats frequently develop hypersensitivity, meaning their senses go into overdrive. A small sound that would normally go unnoticed might send them into a panic. A gentle touch might trigger a violent reaction. Even light can become unbearable, causing the cat to retreat into dark corners. Veterinarian neurologists explain this as direct viral damage to the sensory processing centers of the brain. The signals coming in from the eyes, ears, and skin become distorted and overwhelming, essentially turning the world into a source of constant pain and threat for the infected animal. Watch for flinching at sounds that never bothered them before, avoiding bright areas of the house, reacting painfully to being touched or groomed, dilated pupils even in normal lighting, and a constant state of alertness or fear. Combined with the behavioral changes from Chapter 2, these signs paint a very clear picture, and they're your cue to act. Wait, if this is changing the way you see your cat right now, hit like and subscribe so we can help more cat parents understand what their cat has been trying to tell them all along. Up to this point, the warning signs we've covered have been largely behavioral and neurological, things you sense and observe in how your cat acts. But as rabies progresses, the virus begins leaving visible, physical marks on the body. And these next 2 signs are the ones that tell you time is running out. Warning sign number 4, excessive drooling, foaming, or difficulty swallowing. This is perhaps the most iconic image associated with rabies, and it's iconic for a reason. As the virus attacks the brainstem and the nerves controlling the throat and jaw, it causes partial paralysis of the muscles responsible for swallowing. The result? Saliva builds up and cannot be properly controlled, leading to excessive drooling, thick foamy discharge around the mouth, and repeated swallowing attempts that go nowhere. You may also notice your cat making choking sounds, gagging, or appearing to struggle with food or water they would normally eat with ease. In fact, some infected animals develop such severe throat paralysis that they become unable to eat or drink at all, which accelerates their physical decline rapidly. If you ever see foaming or uncontrolled drooling in your cat, especially paired with any of the behavioral signs from earlier chapters, treat it as a medical emergency. Do not approach the cat with bare hands. Call your vet or animal control right away. Warning sign number 5, wobbling, weakness, or sudden paralysis. As rabies enters its final stages, what veterinarians call the paralytic phase, the virus has spread extensively through the nervous system. You'll begin to see your cat losing physical coordination. They may stumble, drag a hind leg, walk in circles, or collapse without warning. This paralysis typically begins at the site of the original bite and spreads outward through the nervous system. A cat bitten on the leg, for example, may first show weakness in that limb before it spreads to the rest of the body. At this stage, even a cat that was violently aggressive in the furious phase may become eerily still and unresponsive, not because they've calmed down, but because the virus has now stolen their ability to move. This phase moves fast. Within days, it leads to respiratory failure and death. It is heartbreaking to witness, and it is entirely preventable with vaccination. We're almost at the end of our 7 warning signs, and these final 2 are the ones most cat owners never expect to look for. Warning sign number 6, strange, altered vocalizations. Because rabies damages the nerves controlling the larynx, your cat's voice box, Infected cats often begin making sounds that are completely unlike anything you've heard from them before. A normal meow may become hoarse, strained, or distorted. Some cats produce low, guttural sounds. Others cry out, seemingly in pain for no apparent reason. If your cat's voice suddenly sounds different, not just more frequent, but fundamentally changed in quality, combined with any other signs in this video, it deserves immediate veterinary attention. And warning sign number 7, self-mutilation or obsessive licking of the bite site. This one is rarely talked about, but it's one of the earliest clues. Because rabies travels through the nerves from the bite wound to the brain, that original wound site often becomes a source of intense, abnormal sensation for the cat, tingling, burning, or phantom pain. In response, infected cats will obsessively lick, scratch, bite, or mutilate the area of the original wound, even if it had already healed weeks before. If your cat received a bite wound from a wild animal and you notice them returning to that site obsessively, even long after it healed, that is a sign worth taking seriously. So there you have it, 7 warning signs that every cat parent should have tattooed in their memory. Behavioral changes, unprovoked aggression, hypersensitivity, excessive drooling, paralysis, altered vocalizations, and obsessive wound fixation. None of these signs alone confirms rabies, but together they form a picture no responsible cat owner should ignore. The most powerful thing you can do right now? Make sure your cat is up to date on their rabies vaccination. It's affordable, it's effective, and it's the single greatest act of love you can give to an animal who trusts you completely with their life. Your cat can't speak your language, but with the right knowledge, you can speak theirs. We'll see you in the next one.